Welcome to our Nini SR channel.
Just tell me, Nick. I shouted as I sat on the bed. Yes, I shouted at my husband for the third time in the last 2 months. We have never had a huge fight like now, since we got married. Our fight starts when I inquire about Loxley from him. It starts with a small argument, but he stops talking with me. When he gets to know, I ask Nicholas about Loxley. I know what I did was wrong. I know I shouldn't have asked him after Nick told me to get away from the Nevin and Loxley business. The more he told me to get away from her, the more I started to investigate about Loxley. I can't tell you what. But please stay away from her. Please, Jess, I don't want to lose you either. Nick pleaded at me as tears fall from his eyes. He walked toward me and kneeled in front of me as he held my hands in his hands. He leaned in and placed his head on my thighs as he murmured something lowly that I couldn't hear. He looks back at me with steamy tears and says, "Please, Jess. I'm begging you. If Nevin wants to be with her, let him be. But don't involve yourself with them." I don't know why he was saying something like that. I know he hates his brother, but I don't know why he didn't want me to get involved with Loxley and Nevin. Okay. I won't involve myself in them. But let me just help Nevin to get his happiness, I said as I cupped his face in my hands. He leans into my hands as he closes his eyes and says, "Okay. But let me tell you something about Loxley, why I told you to stay away from her. It's your choice to tell Nevin after what I said." "Okay," he asks. I nodded my head and pulled him to sit next to me on the bed. He held my hands in his hands and took a deep breath as he told me about the Loxley side that I never knew.
"I thought he would be the one who proposed you," I asked, as I poured whiskey into my glass. "We are at a club which is near the place we stay. We have both come here at night since I came here. As from what Lox says, Nevin didn't know about this. Because of him, we had to hang out at night. Lox did her best to make Nevin stay away from me. I also didn't want to be near him nor his family. Yeah, I don't want to keep waiting," Loxley says, looking at her phone. "Maybe texting Nevin. So, do you have any plans to tell everyone?" "Yes. Already. Look at our group. I even invited everyone to my birthday party." "I'm not talking about our group, Lox," I said as I poured whiskey into her glass. Then, she asks me, as avoid me as looks down at the dance floor. "You know who I am asking," I said as I followed her eyes to the dance floor to see a girl who looked slightly like my Melody. "Am I drunk?" "That's not her," Lox replied as smash my head. "See, this is why people say we five think exactly the same. Someone evading questions." I smashed back her head. "I'm not evading the questions. I'm just avoiding the person in that question," she says as drunk her drink in one shot. "You know you can't avoid the person in the question," I whispered to her. "Since we are on VVIP floor, our room has low music, unlike the dance floor on down floor." She turns to glare at me. "Oh, what do you mean? Look." I pointed at her phone on the table and shrugged my shoulders as I picked up a whiskey bottle and drank from the bottle. "She might forget he can do anything." She looked at me shocked and smacked her face herself. I drank a full bottle and ordered another bottle. We both know she can't escape from that person. She turns to give me looks that say, what should I do? Again, I shrugged my shoulders and picked up the bottle just served. Before I drank, Locke snatched that bottle from my hand and drank it fully. I roll my eyes at her and order for another, and we keep drinking till we get drunk. Later, we left our table and went to the dance floor and danced for hours. We get back to our floor when she gets tired. When we get to our tables, I order my men to get our things. Unlike stubborn Locksley, I always had at least 3 of my bodyguards with me whenever I went to public places. One of my men got our things and the other 2 helped me with leading the way for me and Locks, who was on my back. Piggyback. As we went out through the back door, our car waited in front with our driver. I placed the sleeping Locks on the back seat and put her seat belt in it. Before I got in, I saw another car parked in front of our car. I turned to glare at my men on my right side. "It's Mr. Miles," he said as he bowed his head and took a step back. I turned to look at Miles, hopped out of his car and walked toward me. He looked at me with a mocking smile and got on the back seat and sat near Locksley. He was the only one who we're not allowed to kill. Since I couldn't do anything to Miles, I turned to kick my man on my right on his knees to make him fall on his knees. The others also fall on their knees as they submit themselves. I order them to leave and hop in the driver's seat as I start driving.